If you've ever looked at a piece of sheet music, you've seen these symbols. I mean, they're everywhere, right? They're kind of like the elegant gatekeepers to all the notes on the page. But we see them so often, we barely even think about them. What are they really? And where in the world did they come from? Well, to figure that out, we've got to unlock a story that's been 1,000 years in the making. Okay, let's take this one. The treble clef. We all see it, and we know, okay, that means higher notes, for instruments like the flute or violin, or for your right hand on the piano. But this beautiful little squiggle isn't just some random decoration. Nope, it's actually a piece of history, and it's holding a very specific secret in plain sight. And here it is. Here's the secret. The word clef comes straight from the Latin word clavis, and clavis means key. You see, early music theorists literally saw these symbols as keys. They were the tools that unlocked the meaning of everything else on the page. Without a clef, those lines and spaces are just lines and spaces. They're meaningless. But with it, a whole world of sound just opens right up. So how did we get these amazing keys? To find out, we have to go way, way back. Back to a time before these elegant symbols even existed. A time when writing down music was, believe it or not, a lot simpler. This is basically ground zero for music notation. So forget the 5 lines we all know today. The very earliest system had just one line, and it was often drawn in bright red ink so you couldn't miss it. And right at the start of that line, a scribe would write a letter, in this case an F, to anchor the whole thing. That told the singer, okay, listen up. This line, this specific pitch, is F. Every single other note was then sung relative to that one single fixed point. Of course, you can imagine one line wasn't going to be enough for very long. So, slowly and pretty logically, the system started to grow. A second line was added for the note C. Then, a black line for A got squeezed in between, and by the 12th century, a 4th line for the note E showed up. Each new line was just another step toward getting more and more precise. And the end result was this. A 4-line stave. The colored lines were still there, helping musicians find their bearings really quickly. And for centuries, especially for vocal music, which, has a pretty limited range, this was it. This was all you needed. It was pretty much a perfect system for its time. But as you know, music never stands still. A new force was coming onto the scene, one that was going to stretch this neat little 4-line system to its absolute breaking point and force it to evolve all over again. The problem was pretty simple, really. While the human voice fits nicely on 4 lines, instruments can go way higher and way lower. So as instrumental music got more and more popular and way more complex, 4 lines just wasn't going to cut it. Scribes started adding lines all over the place. I mean, sometimes 6, sometimes even 15. It was total chaos. A standard system was desperately needed. And by the 14th century, they found it. 5, not 4, not 6, 5. 5 lines became the universal standard for writing complex music, where you have lots of different melodies happening at once. And get this, it's the exact same system we still use today. But wait, what about those letters? The F, the C, and a new one, G. They didn't just vanish. Over hundreds and hundreds of years of scribes writing them over and over and over again, they got simplified, they got stylized, they slowly transformed. You can literally watch the letter G curl and twist and morph until it becomes the treble clef we all know. It was never just a random drawing. It was always, always a letter. So today, we're basically left with 2 main keys. You've got the treble clef, which grew out of that letter G. You can see how it curls around the second line from the bottom, telling us, hey, this line is G. Then you've got the bass clef from the letter F. Its 2 little dots hug the 4th line, telling us this line right here is F. They're the direct descendants of those first letters on a single line. Pretty cool, right? Understanding their history really makes you appreciate their design so much more. In fact, their modern shapes still echo where they came from as letters. So let's quickly break down how you actually draw them, and you'll see that connection for yourself. The G clef looks super complicated, I know, but it's really just a few simple moves. You start with a little hook, draw a straight line up past the top of the stave, then you curve over. But here's the most important part, the part that connects it right back to its past. That big, wide curl in its body happens on the second line up, and the final little spiral curls right around that exact same line, the G line. See? It's all about the G. And the F clef? Oh, this one is even simpler, and it's even closer to its origins. You literally start with a dot right on the fourth line up, that's the F line. Then you draw a sweeping curve, kind of like half of a heart. And the final touch is you add two dots, one in the space above and one in the space below that F line, basically bracketing the note it represents. That's it. So, wow, we've traveled from a single letter on a single line all the way to the symbols we use every single day. We've even seen how their history is baked right into their very shape. Let's bring it all together. So when it comes down to it, these symbols aren't just random marks on a page at all. They're the results of a 1,000-year-long project, a quest by countless musicians and scribes to find the absolute best way to write down sound. They're what's left behind, a refined legacy. So, the next time you see a clef, I want you to remember its incredible journey, how it started as just one simple letter on a single red line, and how it evolved into this universal key, a key that can unlock pretty much any piece of music ever written in the Western world. And that really just leaves us with one final thought. These symbols aren't barriers to entry. They're invitations. They are literally the keys to a massive library of human emotion and creativity. So the only question left is, now that you have the keys, what music will you unlock?